Good afternoon. My name is Curly Ellis. I'm a student of Hope International University. I'm recording this speech for the Introduction to Oral Communications course, directed by instructor Shannon Proctor. Today we will discuss women and their roles in successful ministries. The next time you're in service, as a man or as a woman, take the time to inventory the church. Maybe take a scan around, and you will see that women outnumber men sometimes 8-1. This is normal in most congregations, to have more men than women. It has been said that women attend church more than men. There have been surveys done, such as the one Thomas Long writes about in the Christian Century. According to a recent survey, we make up only 39% of worshipers, meaning men, in a typical congregation. Any reader who reads this document might ask, what is successful ministry? Well, for this speech, I've determined that successful means numbers, number of congregants, number of people. We will delve into statistical analysis about church attendance. It is safe to say that if a church has a large number of congregants, women play an integral role in that ministry. Women are on the board of that ministry. Women are worship leaders. Women are pastors. Women are on the board of directors. Women play a large role in those ministries. Two churches, in fact, that we have studied for this speech, the Potter's House Church in Dallas, Texas, under the direction of Bishop T.D. Jakes and First Lady Sarita Jakes, numbers 30,000 plus congregants and maybe over 40,000 church members. Women play a large part in that ministry. They are on the board of directors. They are pastors. Two of his worship leaders or associate pastors, Bonnie E. Moon and Victoria Crumpton, serve as associate pastors. That is very controversial in today's church. Should women be pastors? Well, in that church, which we would define as being a successful church, not only by the number of congregants, but by the number of homes that are reached, would be considered successful, and women play a large part in that ministry. Is this a coincidence? I would not believe not, because again, the congregation is made up mostly of women. So women represent a large part of the congregation, and any congregation would seek to have itself represented on the platform or in integral parts or important parts of the ministry. And he has determined that women should play a greater role in that ministry rather than a subservient role. So we see that women are considered associate pastors in their church. Lakewood Church in Houston, Texas, under the direction of Joel Osteen and his wife Victoria Osteen, numbers 38,000 members with over 30,000 attending service on each Sunday. His church has somewhere around 5 members on their board of directors. Ministry staff includes Jackie Garner, Cindy Cruz Ratliff, Gloriana Montero, Deidre Greathouse. Now, it's not only of importance that they are women, but they are Hispanic, they are Black, they are white. They represent all the diversity of the city around them. These women have theological degrees. They have business degrees. So they are not just there as window dressing, but they have accomplishments behind them that would suggest they are qualified to serve on a board of directors of such a massive church. So it's not merely coincidence. It can be seen that Jesus designed a blueprint in which women were not only a part of the ministry, but an integral part of the ministry. And mega churches have picked up on that blueprint. For instance, you see Jesus at the well where he ministers to a Samaritan woman. That was considered taboo in his day, but yet he understood that there was something about her that was special. Why do I say that? Because that woman, once Christ showed that he understood where she came from, she ran back to the city and she was able to attract the city out towards him and his ministry. We understand that women may have a talent to minister to certain needs of even men that men cannot minister to. There's something special about it. And so he understood that this woman was able to go into the community and bring people out. In the book of Matthew, we see that Jesus again uses women. First of all, women were the first to observe or see the resurrection. They were the first to, they were the first recorded to have gone to the tomb and witnessed an empty tomb. The angels come and say, tell all the disciples that Jesus is no longer among the dead. He's not among the tombs. He's not among the graveyards. And so they are told by the angels to, in fact, minister. When we minister in church, we are telling people of the good news that Jesus has risen out of the grave. He has overcome death. He's overcome the certainty of death. He's overcome something that no man had overcome before, which was the grave. So we see that the angels tell them to go back and spread the good news. And then Jesus Christ appears to them and says, go and tell my brothers, which were the disciples, that he is risen. This is not coincidence. These women are told twice to go and spread the good news. So anybody that spreads the good news, like an evangelist or a minister, they are licensed by the spiritual application of Jesus and the angels to minister to people. Not just men, not just women, but the whole of society. Years ago, I had the opportunity to attend a men's conference in rural Alexandria, Louisiana. This, like I said, is a men's conference, and there were probably 1,500 to 2,000 men there. And a minister by the name of Janice Jostrand ministered that night. A powerful woman, to be sure, and she ministered to a congregation made of men. Well, I noticed that when she ministered that night, she ministered to parts of men that may have been neglected in the daily service. Men were ministered to about abuse, about rage, about hurt. And she was able to minister to men on that level that I had never seen before. It is not coincidence that God uses women. Women are able to soothe a man. They are able to relax someone. They are able to penetrate the male sight, so to speak, to get to parts of him that he would not allow another man to get to. And so she ministered that night. And anybody that's been to a men's conference, it's almost like some kind of lodge meeting where men are just, men are men, But that night was different. In Christian Century, it's written that in the near future, we will see that 40% of seminaries and schools of theology will be made of 40% women. So in the near future, we will see that women will be graduating from these seminaries and becoming a large part of congregations. After today's points, do we have any questions? All audience members, we have no questions. All audience members should seek to have their race and gender represented when considering joining the church. Change towards race and gender will change when there is demand for it. Thank you for your time. Good day.